My father-in-law returned from war, bringing back a mother and daughter, the older one as his co-wife, and the young daughter he gifted to my husband as a concubine. So that very night, my mother-in-law sneaked into my room.
Hurry, pack your valuables. We're leaving tonight.
The next day, in the empty marquis's manor, only the father and son were left staring at each other. The Marquis of Dingyuan, my father-in-law, returned home today. Behind him were two people, a still charming older woman and a girl in the prime of her youth. The two looked strikingly alike. I stood behind my mother-in-law, eyes cast down. My husband, Wei Shun, stood opposite me, his eyes glued to the young girl, unable to look away.
Madam, this is Liu Qing. She'll be my co-wife from now on.
The smile on my mother-in-law's face didn't falter one bit. She even took a step forward.
It must have been a tough journey, sister.
Her smile dripped with fake politeness.
Jun, this is Jiao Jiao, Liu Qing's daughter. She'll be your concubine.
Wei Shun's face instantly flushed red. As for me, I was like the carved wood on the pillars, present but completely meaningless. The father-in-law takes a new wife, and the husband takes a concubine. In this massive manner, hosting two weddings on the same day. How festive.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful news. The Marquis and the heir expanding the family tree. It's a blessing from the ancestors. Go, start the banquet. Bring out that 20-year-old newer Hong. From the cellar. Yuanhe, don't just stand there, go to the storehouse. Fetch that new batch of Yunjin and Shujin silks to make new dresses for Madame Lu and Miss Jiao Jiao. Only the best materials. Don't hold back.
Filled with smiles, like the warmest spring sun. But looking at her, I only felt a chill down my spine. I nodded numbly. Yes, mother. I turned to go to the storehouse. As I passed Wei Shun, he didn't even look at me. His entire attention was fixated on that girl named Jiao Jiao. The girl kept her head down, cheeks blushing bright red. They clearly had the hots for each other. So what was I? I pushed open the heavy storehouse doors. I didn't know what to do. Should I cry or throw a fit? My only value here was managing his household, being the perfect, obedient wife. Now he's getting a shiny new toy. I slowly walked in, running my hands over the cold silk. These were my dowry, priceless treasures from my family, and my mother-in-law told me to take the best. I pulled out a bolt of the most gorgeous golden peacock Yunjin. I carried it out of the storehouse, like holding a burning hot iron. The welcome banquet was in the main hall, lively and loud, filled with laughter. My mother-in-law mingled with the guests, serving them food herself.
Pouring drinks, don't be shy. Eat up.
I handed the silk to a servant and quietly went back to my seat. I didn't touch a single bite of food.
Liu Qing is the widow of my fallen comrade, and Jiao Jiao is all alone in the world. Giving her to Shun is a step up for him.
He spoke with such passion, acting like he was some damn saint saving the world. Wei Shun looked at Jiao Jiao with pity and affection in his eyes. My stomach churned in disgust. I slipped away quietly and went back to my own courtyard. Later that night, I heard footsteps. It was my maid, Ting Yu.
My lady, it's getting late. You should rest.
I didn't answer. 3 soft knocks on the door, steady and calm. That wasn't Ting Yu's knock. My heart skipped a beat. Who is it?
It's me, your mother-in-law.
Startled, I went to open the door. She slipped inside, shutting the door immediately. I was nervous. Mother?
Yuanhe, pack your valuables quickly. We're leaving tonight.
Leave? Where to?
Away from here. Somewhere without them.
But why?
Today isn't the first time. And it won't be the last. How long are you going to put up with this? Until Jiao Jiao pops out a son. And you're tossed aside to rot?
Her words were like daggers, stabbing straight into my heart. I shivered. She was right. What was I hoping for? She let go of me, walked over to my vanity, and pulled open the drawers. She dumped all the hairpins, earrings, and bracelets into a bag she had brought with her, moving fast without a second thought.
Where's your dowry inventory? Get it out. Anything valuable that we can carry, we take. Especially the property and shop deeds. And the banknotes.
I snapped out of my daze, rushed to the bed, and from a hidden compartment, pulled out a sandalwood box. Inside was my dowry list. My mother-in-law grabbed the box, popping it open for a quick scan.
The 3-courtyard estate in the south. The silk shop on West Street, nice. All liquid assets.
What about the rest?
Locked in the storehouse. Silly girl. How could you put your personal stuff in the family vault? Whatever. Too late for that now. Go pack your clothes. And grab any ornaments or jade pieces we can sell. I've held the spare keys to the manor for 20 years. I know exactly what's in this house. Better than your father-in-law does. Tonight, we're taking it all.
I was completely stunned. I thought she just wanted to escape this heartbreaking place. I had no idea. She planned to completely empty the manor. My voice trembled. They're gonna find out.
The loyal crew I've built for 20 years wasn't for nothing. Your father-in-law thinks leading an army is tough? I'll show him. Running a house is way harder. This is for the outer storehouse. Holds all the rewards he just got. In the secret room of the East Wing are the family's antique paintings. And under the West Stables is a cellar I dug 3 years ago, hoarding the real silver. We take it all. Scared?
Yes. When Wei Shen's eyes locked onto that woman, my heart died. With my heart dead, what else is there to fear?
Sweetheart, remember this. The only things a woman can rely on are the money in her own hands and another woman in the same boat. Men, they're the sky. So let them float up there. We'll live a much better life down here on Earth. Are your 2 maids reliable?
Tingyu and Huayi both grew up with me.
Call them in. If we pull this off tonight, they come with us and live in wealth. If not, we go down together. Let them choose.
I'm planning to clear out the manor and run. Are you willing to come with me? The 2 maids exchanged a glance and fell straight to their knees.
We're going with you, my lady. Good.
Move fast. We only have 2 hours.
The night was pitch black, and the entire manor was passed out in a drunken stupor. Me, my mother-in-law, and the 2 maids scurried around like mice in the dark, initiating a crazy heist. 2 hours later, mother-in-law and Huai returned. Behind them were 2 silent, burly women. Everyone was carrying heavy bags.
It's done. Manager Wang took every usable carriage and horse to the back door. The other servants were given 50 silver taels each and dismissed. By tomorrow morning, this place will be a ghost town.
I looked at her, filled with an unspeakable admiration. My mother-in-law, the woman who played the perfect wife, for 20 years. Just how many tricks did she have up her sleeve?
With her command, let's go.
The 5 of us lugged our bags silently across the courtyard, toward the back door. The alley out back was pitch black. Manager Wang stood by 3 carriages, already loaded with bulging sacks.
Madam, young madam, everything's ready.
We quickly hopped into the middle carriage. Mother-in-law Tingyu, Huai, and I, 4 women squeezed together. The carriage smelled like a mix of gold, silver, and dust.
Manager Wang, stick to the plan and take the water route to Chuanzhou. Someone will meet you there. Once you fence the goods, take your family overseas and never come back. I've got your new papers ready.
Thank you, madam. Safe travels. To you both.
The driver whipped the reins, and the carriage rolled out silently. That place held 3 years of my youth. What I thought would be my forever home. Now it's all gone.
Don't look back. We're starting a new life.
I nodded, resting my head on her shoulder. We didn't sleep a wink that night. Deep inside the Dingyuan Manor, a hungover Wei Shen woke up thirsty. He yelled for someone several times, But no one answered. The whole manor was eerily dead silent. His heart sank, and he rushed to the main courtyard. The vanity was stripped of all jewels, and the closets were bare.
Madam!
He checked the storehouse. Decades of gold, silver, antiques, deeds and cash notes were completely gone. It was only then that it hit him. His obedient wife of 20 years and his quiet, submissive daughter-in-law took everything the manor had and vanished into thin air.
Treason! Absolute treason!
Our carriage drove until the crack of dawn, stopping at a rundown dock. By the dock, a low-key awning boat was already waiting. A boatman in a straw hat stood at the bow. We got off the carriage, and with the help of the two women, lugged everything onto the boat trip by trip. I picked up a small bag and almost threw my back out. Must be packed with gold or silver. By daylight, everything was loaded. On the boat, me, mother-in-law, Ting-Yu, and Huai were crammed into the tiny cabin. The boatman at the back rowed the oars, letting the boat drift slowly down the river. Mother, where are we heading?
To Jiangnan. I used my own dowry money to buy a small estate there. No one knows about it. Yuanha, when I married into this family, I was about your age. My marriage was just a trade for the marquis' backing. Your marriage was your dad wanting to climb the social ladder. We're exactly the same. I've put up with it for 20 years. Endured him bringing home woman after woman. Forced to claim his bastards as my own. And let him drain my dowry to fund his damn military expenses. I thought once Sun grew up and got married, I'd finally have some peace. But I didn't expect Sun to be exactly like his father. Seeing the way he looked at Jiao Jiao, I knew right then, this family is beyond saving. If we keep swallowing this, your present will become my past, and my present will be your future. I refuse to accept that. Why do we women always have to endure? Why do these men get to do whatever the hell they want? If they won't give us a way out, we'll carve one out ourselves.
She wasn't acting on impulse. She was betting half a lifetime of suffering on this final shot at freedom. Mother, I'm with you all the way.
Don't call me mother anymore. Or mother-in-law. My name is Lin Shu. Just call me Aunt Lin.
Aunt Lin.
MHM. This is our safety net for the future.
I converted all the manor's dead assets into these. There were dozens of banknotes, along with over a dozen property deeds, scattered all across the country.
Manager Wang took the gold and antiques. Those are too flashy. Easy to track. We brought these. They honor the notes, not the name. Once we hit Jiangnan, we change our identities, and no one will ever find us.
She pulled out another paper and handed it to me.
And this.
I took it, and written in bold strokes were two huge characters. Divorce, not him divorcing her, but her divorcing him. The content below made my jaw drop. It listed out the marquis's disgusting behavior over the last 20 years. From moral corruption to embezzling military funds, every line enough to get him executed.
This document, I've had 100 copies made. If we're left alone, it never sees the light of day. If they dare send someone after us, the whole marquis family is going down.
Holding that divorce paper, my hands were shaking. The woman before me wasn't a marquis's wife, wasn't my mother-in-law. She was a master tactician, a general. Her battlefield was the household, and her troops were leverage and cash. And this battle, she won. The boat sailed down the river for 3 days and nights. For 3 days, we barely docked, eating nothing but the dry rations and water we brought. Me, Ting-Yu, and Huai were incredibly tense at first, constantly peeking out, looking for pursuers. But Lin Shu was cool as a cucumber, spending most of her time resting with eyes closed. On the morning of the 4th day, the boat slowed down.
Madam, Tongzhou Pier is just up ahead. Further down is the main canal. Lots of boat traffic. Too many eyes watching.
Lin Shu nodded, handing him a heavy pouch of coins.
Thank you, old man. Pull the boat over at that wild crossing ahead. We'll get off ourselves.
The boatman weighed the pouch in his hand, didn't say a word, and just did it. At a deserted crossing, we got off. All our luggage was still just those few big bags, surrounded by wilderness. Just us 4 women and a pile of bags. Aunt Lin, what do we do now? I asked.
We wait.
That's all Lin Shu said. We waited for about 2 hours, until the sound of a carriage came from afar. Soon enough, a carriage appeared on the dirt path. The driver was a lean, tough-looking guy. He saw us, jumped down, and jogged over, greeting Lin Shu, Boss Lin.
Just like you asked, the carriage is ready.
Lin Shu nodded.
Where are the goods?
Rice, flour, oil, salt, and a few changes of clothes.
The man replied. We loaded our bags onto the carriage. This carriage was much bigger and a lot more comfortable. Once inside, the guy stayed quiet and whipped the horses. Inside, Lin Shu finally explained.
He's an escort from a security guild I funded years ago. Named Sunday, keeps his mouth shut. Highly reliable. From here to Jiangnan, the main roads take a month. Too slow and too risky. We're taking the back roads. It's rougher, but we'll be there in half a month.
It finally clicked. She had every single step calculated. For the next 10 days, we just bounced around in that carriage, nonstop. On the evening of the 15th day, we drove through a dense bamboo forest and stopped in front of a white-walled estate.
We're here,
Lin Shu said. We got out, staring at this unfamiliar, yet peaceful courtyard, and for a moment we were in a trance. Sun helped carry our bags inside. The yard was spotless. Clearly someone had been keeping it up. Lin Shu handed him a 500 tel note.
Brother Sun, thank you. We take it from here. Go back home. Live a good life. Let's pretend we never met.
Sun tried to decline, but eventually took it. He gave a deep bow to Lin Shu and drove off into the bamboo forest. We walked into the quiet estate, finally free from the fear. The 4 of us took an amazing hot bath and put on clean clothes. Sitting at the table, we had our first hot meal in over a dozen days. The food was simple, just greens and tofu, and a bowl of steamed eggs. But we devoured it like starving wolves. By the time we finished, it was pitch dark. Lin Shu and I sat on the porch, looking up at the moon.
Yuenha, starting today, you are no longer the heir's wife of the marquis' estate.
Lin Shu said.
Have you thought about what you want to do?
I thought for a moment, shook my head. I don't know.
That's okay, take your time. She said, we've got time and money now. You can pick up a trade, start a small business, or just live quietly for the rest of your life. Whatever you want.
I asked her.
She smiled. For me, I spent the first half of my life living for others. For the rest of it, I'm living for myself. I want to see the gardens of Jiangnan, listen to kung fu opera, and taste all the pastries I've only read about. I want to experience every single day I was deprived of before.
In her eyes was a spark I had never seen, a light called hope. The woman who had been dead inside for 20 years finally came alive at this moment. We talked for a long time. Late at night, I went to my room, lying on an unfamiliar bed, smelling the fresh sun-dried blankets. I just couldn't fall asleep. I couldn't help but wonder. The Dingyuan Manor in the capital. What does it look like right now? Did father-in-law and Wei Shun notice we're gone? What's the look on their faces? Are they throwing a fit? Or losing their minds? I suddenly felt so damn good. Capital Dingyuan Manor. Wei Jin stormed through the corridors, heading to the main hall. In the main hall, his son Wei Shun had just woken up too, standing there looking completely lost.
Dad, where is everyone?
Wei Shun asked.
Your mother took your wife and ran, and they took all the gold and silver.
Wei Jin roared in fury.
Yuan he.
Wei Shun panicked, turning and sprinting to his own courtyard. Turns out his father was right. The whole place was stripped bare. Just then, a sweet, delicate voice came from behind.
Marquis, young master. Why are you here? We've been waiting forever. There's not even a servant to serve tea.
It was Liu Qing and Liu Zhaozhao. They had woken up too, and were happily ready to start their shiny new lives. Seeing them, Wei Jin's boiling rage flared right up.
Shut up.
The mother and daughter jumped, frozen in place.
Dad, what the hell is going on?
Wei Xun's voice cracked. Just as he was about to lose it, a servant came stumbling and crawling in.
Marquis, terrible news. Outside, a mob of people are outside, claiming to be our creditors, waving IOUs and demanding money.
Creditors?
Wei Jin grabbed him by the collar.
What creditors? When have I ever owed anyone money?
It's Madam's personal seal.
The servant was scared out of his mind.
They said, Madam borrowed under the manor's name 300,000 taels of silver.
300,000. Wei Jin's world spun. His wife, the woman who played the obedient little wife for decades, actually did this behind his back. Not only did she clear out the estate, she left him drowning in debt,
Dad,
holding a piece of paper, looking pale as a ghost.
look at this.
It was a divorce letter. She divorced him. Every single dirty deed he had done was spelled out in black and white. He felt a metallic taste in his mouth and coughed up a mouthful of blood. Dingyuan Manor was finished. Half a lifetime of his legacy wiped out overnight. He collapsed to the floor, staring at his empty house. Liu Qing and Liu Zhaozhao finally realized what was happening. The mother and daughter hugged and cried. Their sweet dreams shattered before it began. They thought they married into money, but turns out they married into a giant empty shell, stacked with massive debt. Weixin looked at the crying Jiao Jiao, with zero affection left in him. He was just annoyed. Incredibly annoyed. He kicked the pillar next to him.
Bitches, it's all because of those two bitches.
He screamed. Sunlight spilled into the empty manor, but brought zero warmth, leaving only the father and son's rage, and the two women's crying, echoing through the hollow courtyard. They were completely stunned. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away in Jiangnan, Lin Shu and I were sitting in the yard, sipping on the season's fresh Longjing tea. The aroma of tea wafted, peaceful and serene. The estate in Jiangnan wasn't big, but had everything we needed. Me and Lin Shu, along with Ting Yu and Huai moving in, it felt just right. For the first few days, we just unpacked everything. When all the cash notes and deeds were laid out, I was still totally mind-blown. Lin Shu pointed to the stack and said,
Yuanha. This is our security for the rest of our lives.
She separated some of the notes and a few shop deeds from the capital and handed them to Ting Yu.
Make a trip to the bank. Cash out all these notes. And sell off these shops ASAP. We can't keep anything tied to the capital.
Ting Yu was a bit worried.
Madam, by myself?
Lin Shu handed her an address.
This is my distant cousin's address. He'll help you out. Remember, be careful with everything.
Ting Yu nodded and left the next day disguised as a man. Huai and I, under Lin Shu's guidance, started learning how to manage the estate. Lin Shu opened a ledger and laid it out in front of me.
Look here, how much money we have. Our monthly expenses. And our future investments. Everything needs a plan. Money can't just sit there. You gotta make your money work for you.
She taught me how to read the books, calculate interest, and evaluate a business's potential. All of this was way more useful than the decade of embroidery. I learned growing up. My brain was firing on all cylinders, and I learned fast. In just 2 weeks, I was able to help Lin Shu balance the books perfectly. Lin Shu was proud.
You're smarter than I thought.
She praised me. I smiled. Those 3 years at the manor, I thought I had turned into a brainless puppet. Only now did I realize I wasn't. I was just locked in a cage for too long. Life without men was as peaceful as a mountain spring. We cooked our own meals, cleaned the yard ourselves. When we had free time, Lin Shu would play the zither, and I would paint, or we'd stroll around the Jiangnan town. The streets here were narrow, paved with bluestone, with quaint antique shops on both sides, selling all sorts of little trinkets we'd never seen before. We'd buy a bag of osmanthus candy, or a small pouch of freshly roasted chestnuts, snacking as we walked. If we spotted some nice fabric, Lin Shu would drag me in, and we'd browse for hours.
This lake blue one is nice. Goes well with your skin tone.
Aunt Lin, this turmeric yellow. You'd look stunning in this. We were like a real mother and daughter, close and inseparable. Sometimes I'd space out, feeling like those 3 years in the capital were just a bad nightmare. And now I'm awake. A month later, Tingyu returned. Not only did she sell all the shops for a great price, she brought back the latest gossip from the capital.
Miss, Aunt Lin,
She had changed how she addressed us.
Dingyuan Manor is done for.
The estate was drowning in massive debt. Weijin sold off all their assets, even the ancestral home, just to barely clear it. When the emperor found out, he was furious, chewed him out for failing his household and lacking morals, stripped him of his title, and reduced him to a commoner.
I heard his family and that mother-daughter duo moved to the west side, into a rundown little shack. All their old friends and relatives. Avoid them like the plague now.
Tingyu beamed as she told the story.
That former heir, Wei Shun, couldn't handle the fall from grace, drinks every day, and gets violent when drunk. Those two Liu women, fight with them every single day. The place is a total madhouse.
I listened quietly, feeling absolutely nothing. Not curious, not caring. Those people, that drama, it's none of my business anymore. Lin Shu listened, and just gave a faint like she was hearing a story about strangers. She tallied the silver Tingyu brought back into our vault, and then told us, all right.
That's the end of the capital chapter. No one brings it up again.
Yes, we all replied. Days went by. We had a ton of money, enough to live in luxury for a lifetime. But Lin Shu said, we can't just sit idle. Idle minds wander into trouble. She asked me, Yuani, what do you want to do? I thought about it for a long time. I said I want to open an embroidery boutique. I've loved embroidery since I was little. My mom was a famous embroiderer in Jiangnan, and I inherited all her skills. In the manner, my embroidery was just a little trick to please my husband. Now I want it to be my career. Lin Shu fully supported me.
All right, if you want it, we do it. Jiangnan embroidery is world famous. If we're doing this, we're making it the best.
We got straight to work. We started scouting storefronts in town. Lin Shu had a sharp eye. She didn't pick the busiest street, but chose a quiet alley, filled with scholars and artists, renting a small 2-story building.
We're selling to people with taste.
She said quality speaks for itself. We named the boutique Huixin Pavilion, meaning using a clear mind to break the illusion and awakening an independent soul. We hired the best craftsmen to renovate the shop and recruited several master embroiderers from the countryside. I brought out my own work and designed new patterns with the women. We ditched the traditional dragons and phoenixes and peonies, opting for Jiangnan landscapes, seasonal birds and flowers, and everyday street life. Lin Shu handled the business side. She set strict rules and regulations and paid our workers top dollar. She said, keep their loyalty and you keep their talent. On opening day, we didn't hire bands or make a scene. We just hung 2 elegant lanterns by the door and lit a small string of firecrackers. There wasn't a huge crowd, but everyone who walked in was completely mesmerized by our unique embroidery. Our prices weren't cheap, but we sold several pieces on day 1, holding my very first earned paycheck. My hands were shaking. It wasn't much, just 20 taels. But these 20 taels felt more precious than any allowance I ever received before. That night we closed shop and celebrated upstairs. Lin Shu raised her glass. Yuan He?
Congratulations. From today on, you are no one's wife. No one's daughter-in-law. You are the boss of Huaishan Pavilion. Yuan He.
I took Wei Shun's name when we married, but today, I finally reclaimed my own name. Yuan He. I raised my glass and downed the drink. The liquor burned, but my heart was sweet. Huixin Pavilion's business was better than we ever imagined. The fresh patterns I designed quickly became the talk of the town among the elite ladies and misses. They were sick of the basic rich peony designs and obsessed with our natural landscapes and elegant embroidery. Orders flew in like a blizzard. I was working nonstop, either sketching new designs or guiding the women on their stitching. Lin Shu was even busier. She not only handled the daily operations, but also expanded our market. Using her old connections, she got in touch with several major traveling merchant caravans, pushing our products out to even farther regions. In just half a year, Huixin Pavilion went from a tiny shop to a well-known brand in Jiangnan. We were raking in the cash, so much it honestly shocked me. But Lin Shu said money was secondary. The important thing was we built this. We proved ourselves. But with bigger business comes bigger drama. There was an old boutique in town called Jinxu Ward. Been around for decades, basically holding a monopoly. Our pop-up stole half their customers. Boss Chen of Jinxu Ward, a pudgy guy in his 40s, sent thugs to mess with us multiple times, one day claiming our threads faded, the next claiming we stole their designs. Lin Shu shut down every single one. She invited the troublemakers in, and right in front of all the customers, pulled out our work and compared it to Jinxu Ward's.
Ladies, you all have an eye for quality. See for yourselves whose stitching is finer, whose colors are more elegant, whose fabric is better. The answer is obvious.
The customers weren't blind. The difference was night and day. After a few of these stunts, not only did Jinxu Ward fail, they ruined their own reputation. Boss Chen was furious and started playing dirty. He hired local thugs to block our door every day, harassing the customers. The embroiderers were too scared to work, and customers stopped coming. Business tanked overnight. I was freaking out, telling Lin Shu Aunt Lin, "Let's call the authorities."
Lin Shu shook her head. The cops and them are in the same bed. Reporting it won't help. It'll only drag us down too.
Then what do we do?
To deal with thugs, you gotta play dirtier than them.
A cold glint flashed in Lin Shu's eyes. That night, she went out alone. The next day, a miracle happened. The punks blocking our door disappeared, vanished, replaced by a few muscle-bound guys in tight gear. They didn't say a word, just stood by our door, like literal bouncers. When a customer came, they smiled and welcomed them. But if any sketchy guy got near, one glare sent them packing. I was curious. Aunt Lin, who are they? Lin Shu said it casually.
I dropped some cash. Hired them for security.
I was floored. The syndicate, even the authorities. Don't mess with those guys. And Lin Shu somehow hired them? How did you...
The gang boss is a mama's boy. And his mom loves embroidery. I went straight to his place. Gifted her 100 lifespans tapestry. And promised that from now on, all their gang's events, we'd cover the embroidery. Lin Shu said, sometimes favors work better than cash.
Once again, I was in complete awe of her. As for Boss Chen, he got the memo real quick, scared out of his mind. He showed up the next day with expensive gifts to apologize. Lin Shu met with him, but refused the gifts. She only said one thing.
Boss Chen, when you run a business, you rely on skill, not dirty tricks. Try this again, and it won't just be the gang watching my door.
Boss Chen nodded furiously and scurried off like a rat. After that, no one dared mess with Huixin Pavilion again, and business boomed once more. With that sorted, Lin Shu made a decision. She took a chunk of our profits, bought a huge plot of land outside town, and built a massive estate. She said, the shop's growing. We need more hands.
Let's adopt some homeless orphaned girls. Teach them a trade. Give them a way to survive on their own.
I was fully on board. We named the place Huixin Courtyard and took in over a dozen girls of all ages. We hired tutors to teach them reading and writing and taught them embroidery. The little Huixin Pavilion became a warm big family. Seeing the smiles of those girls, I felt a satisfaction I had never known. Way better than living in luxury at the manor. 1,000,000 times happier. I thought life would just stay this peaceful forever until that day. Someone I thought I'd never see again showed up at the door of Huixin Pavilion. That afternoon, I was upstairs checking accounts. Huai suddenly ran up in a panic.
Miss Bad News. He found us. Who?
I put my pen down, frowning.
Former heir Wei Shun.
Huai's voice was shaking. My heart dropped, like getting hit with a sledgehammer. I stood up and peeked out the window. A crowd had gathered outside the shop, and in the middle stood a man, wearing faded coarse clothes, hair a total mess, unshaven, looking completely emaciated. If it wasn't for those vaguely familiar facial features, I never would have recognized that this was the arrogant Ding Yuan heir from a year ago. He was arguing with one of our guys.
Let me in! I need to see Yuanhe. I'm her husband.
He screamed, his voice hoarse. The worker pushed him back.
Buddy, you got the wrong person. Our boss doesn't know you.
The crowd pointed and whispered, talking amongst themselves.
Isn't that the beggar? Been loitering around town for days, and he has the nerve to call himself her husband. Talk about out of his league.
Those words clearly triggered Wei Shun, and he tried even harder to shove his way in. My hands and feet went cold. I never thought he'd find this place, and I definitely didn't expect him to end up looking like this. Lin Shu heard the commotion and came up. She stood next to me, took one look down, and her eyes went ice cold.
Like a bad penny.
She muttered. Aunt Lin, I lost my nerve.
Don't panic. Lin Shu patted my hand. Let's go down. Some things just need to be handled face to face.
I took a deep breath and nodded. We went downstairs together. Everyone in the shop stared at us. I walked to the door and looked at that man. So familiar yet so alien. Wei Shun saw me too, froze for a second. Then his eyes lit up with crazy joy.
Yuanhei, it really is you! I finally found you!
He pushed past the worker, trying to lunge at me. Instinctively, I took a step back and dodged him. The two syndicate bouncers stepped up, blocking him like two brick walls. Wei Shun's smile froze.
Yuanhei, what is the meaning of this?
He stared at me in disbelief. I looked at him, feeling completely calm. No hate, no love, just looking at a total stranger. Sir, you have the wrong person, I said, my voice steady. My name is Yuanhei, boss of Huixin Pavilion, and I don't know you.
Don't know me? Wei Shun's eyes widened. I'm Wei Shun. I'm your husband. How could you not know me?
My husband? I laughed, but my eyes stayed cold. My husband died over a year ago. Died. The day his dad brought his new toy home. Died the moment he smiled at another woman. Wei Shun's face instantly went chalk white.
Yuanhei, I was wrong. I really messed up.
He dropped to his knees with a thud, begging on the ground.
Come back with me. Let's start over, okay?
Go back? I fired back. To where? To the manor you already sold? Or to that dump you're crashing in now? His head hung even lower.
Yuanhei, I know I screwed up. I shouldn't have let that woman blind me. This past year, I've done a lot of thinking, and I know I was wrong. Just forgive me, and I'll do anything.
He started sobbing, a grown man bawling his eyes out. More and more people gathered to watch. I was done playing games with him. Wei Shun, I used his full name. We are long over. Leave and never come back here. With that, I turned to go inside.
Yuanhei!
He suddenly lunged up from the ground, charging at me like a maniac.
You toxic bitch. You stole all our family's money. Ruined our lives. And you think you can just walk away? Give me back my money.
His face was twisted in rage, completely dropping his pathetic act. Turns out he wasn't here to beg for forgiveness. He just wanted the cash. Whatever shred of pity I had left vanished. I stopped in my tracks, turned around and glared at him. Money, I said. Let me get this straight. That money belongs to my mother-in-law, Lin Shu, and is my dowry. It has absolutely nothing to do with your Wei family. We simply took back what was rightfully ours.
Bullshit. Whether it is or not.
You know the truth. I looked at him. Wei Shun, considering we were once married, I'll give you one piece of advice. You've got hands and feet. Go earn a living. And stop acting like a stray dog. With that, I stopped looking at him and walked straight inside. Shut the door, I told the worker. The door closed, slowly behind me, shutting out the noise and Wei Shun's cursing. I leaned against the door, letting out a long breath. It's finally over. But Wei Shun didn't leave. He just parked himself at our door, like some tragic statue. During the day, he'd cry to any passing customer, talking about how heartless I was, how I ran off with the family fortune, and abandoned my husband and kids. At night, he'd sleep under the eaves across the street. The whole town treated him like a joke. At first, some pitied him. But soon everyone realized he was just a lazy bum who only knew how to whine and beg for cash, and pity quickly turned to disgust. The staff couldn't stand it and tried to kick him out a few times, but I stopped them. Let him be, I said. If he wants to waste his time, let him. We just focus on our business. Lin Shu fully agreed with my approach. With guys like this,
The more attention you give, the more they act out. Ignore him, and he'll eventually get bored.
true enough, but having a guy camping at our door every day was bad for business. A few days later, the syndicate guys had enough too. That night, a few of their brothers dragged Wei Shun into an alley and beat the absolute crap out of him.
Punk, pushing your luck, huh? Pull this stunt again, and we'll break your legs and toss you in the river.
Wei Shun was terrified. The next day, he didn't dare block the door, but watched from the street corner with a look of pure, helpless hatred. I ignored him. My heart had turned to stone. Ever since that night in the capital, a few days passed, and Wei Shun finally broke. He had no money for food. Freezing and starving, he got sick. The town chief took pity on him, and not wanting a dead body on the street, hauled him off to an abandoned temple outside town. When Huai brought me the news, I was testing out a new thread. I didn't even look up. Got it.
Miss, you really don't care at all.
Huai hesitated. I looked up at her. Huai, what do you expect me to do? Cry, send him money and meds, so he can heal up and harass me again? Huai stayed quiet. If it was me lying in that temple, do you think he'd even give me a second glance? I asked. Huai shook her head hard. Exactly. I looked back down and went back to my threads. You gotta love yourself first, before you can love anyone else. If you can't even love yourself, yet love someone who hurt you, that's just stupid. And I, Yuani, am done being stupid. I thought that was the end of it. But half a month later, it all blew up again. Wei Shun vanished from the temple, and along with him, one of the girls from Huixin Courtyard, Xiaoya, also disappeared. Xiaoya was one of the first orphans we took in. Pretty girl. Incredibly skilled, my best student. The gatekeeper said, that afternoon, a guy called for Xiaoya from outside, claiming to be her distant cousin, bringing a letter from home. Xiaoya went out to meet him and never came back. When I heard the news, my heart sank. That guy had to be Wei Shun. I immediately reported it and had the syndicate boys search the whole city. Lin Shu saw my panic
And comforted me, don't panic. A crippled man and a kid can't get far.
How could I not panic? This was Wei Shun getting back at me. He knew Xiaoya was my favorite, and he wanted to destroy what I cared about most. My heart felt like it was roasting over a fire. I sent people to the temple, to the city gates, everywhere he could possibly go, but nothing. He just vanished off the face of the earth. For 3 whole days, I didn't sleep a wink. On the morning of the 4th day, just when I was about to lose all hope, the syndicate guys came through. They found Wei Shun and Xiaoya in a cave 10 miles outside town. I rushed over, grabbed a rock off the ground, and with everything I had, smashed it onto Wei Shun's head. He let out a grunt and collapsed. Blood pooled around his head. I tossed the rock aside, took off my coat, and wrapped it tightly around the shaking Xiaoya. It's okay, you're safe. I'm here, Xiaoya bawled in my arms. The gang members gathered around, looking down at Wei Shun.
Boss Yuan, what do we do with him?
I stared at the unconscious Wei Shun, with absolutely zero empathy. Take him to the cops, I said. Say he kidnapped a girl, with bad intentions. We've got witnesses and evidence. Let the magistrate handle it by the book.
By the book?
The gang leader smirked.
Don't you worry, Boss Yuan. Once he's in lockup, we'll make sure to have a chat with him. I guarantee you, for the rest of his life, he won't be touching another woman.
I said nothing, taking that as a yes. Dealing with scum like this, mercy is completely unnecessary. I carried Xiaoya back to Huichin Courtyard, handled her wounds myself, and made her favorite osmanthus cake. When she fell asleep that night, she was still holding tightly onto my hand. I sat by her bed, staying up all night. Looking at her sleeping face, I suddenly remembered Lin Shu's words.
A woman can only rely on the money in her hands. And another woman in the same situation.
Now I'd add one more thing. The only one who can protect us is ourselves. We have to be stronger. Strong enough that no one can ever hurt us again. Wei Shun had it coming. For kidnapping a girl, he was sentenced to 5 years. And because he crossed the wrong people inside, they broke his 3rd leg. By the time he got out 5 years later, he was a complete and utter vegetable. Lin Shu told me all this later. When I heard, I was giving the new girls their first lesson. I just went, oh, and I never asked again. This person was completely erased from my life. Xiaoya's incident really shook me up. I realized, even though Huixin Courtyard could give these girls a home, it couldn't protect them forever. Lin Shu and I talked it over and decided to open a girls' school, not just teaching embroidery, but also reading, writing, math, We even brought in retired female bodyguards to teach them self-defense. I want every girl who walks out of Wixon Courtyard to be able to protect herself and survive on her own. This idea was completely mind-blowing back then. A lot of people mocked us, saying we were out of our minds.
What's the point of women studying so much? They're just gonna end up married anyway.
I ignored the haters, and Lin Shu was my biggest cheerleader.
Walk your own path. And let them talk.
She said,
We're not raising proper little ladies. We're raising badasses who can hold up half the sky.
the girls' school was up and running in no time. We didn't just take in orphans, we opened admissions. Any girl who wanted to learn, rich or poor, we accepted. The school's reputation spread fast. Wixon Courtyard became the most unique place in Jiangnan, if not the whole country. It wasn't just an embroidery shop or an orphanage anymore. It became a symbol, a sanctuary for every woman looking to rewrite her destiny. Time flew by. 5 years passed in a blink. Wixon Pavilion's business exploded, with branches opening nationwide. And Wixon Courtyard graduated, batch after batch of amazing young women. Some became independent shop managers. Some became master embroiderers. Others got married, used their skills to run successful households, and commanded respect from their in-laws. Lin Shu and I both aged a bit too. I wasn't that naive young wife anymore. Got some wrinkles around my eyes, but my gaze was steadier than ever. Lin Shu's hair turned completely white, but she still had that fire. She handed the business side over to me and focused entirely on the school, hanging with the kids every day, smiling like one herself. We became a true mother-daughter duo. Today was Lin Shu's 60th birthday. The whole courtyard was decked out, livelier than New Year's. Girls coming back from all over packed the place to the brim. Everyone gathered around her, singing birthday songs, handing over their handmade gifts. Lin Shu couldn't stop grinning. During the feast, she pulled me aside.
Yuanha, I'm in a good mood today. Let me tell you something.
She pulled a small parcel from her coat, unwrapped it, and inside was a lock of dry hair and a yellowed letter.
This is your father-in-law's. Lin Shu said, Weijian's.
I froze. Lin Shu told me, 5 years ago, she got word of Wei Jin's death. After getting stripped of his title, he and Liu Qing fell into total poverty. Eventually, he died of sickness in some dump in the capital. Liu Qing couldn't handle the grind and bolted ages ago. It was an old servant from the manor who quietly buried him and somehow got this letter and his hair. All the way to Lin Shu. What did he say in the letter? I asked. Regrets.
Lin Shu said flatly. Said I was the one he wronged the most. In his entire life. I burned it. Lin Shu said, the guy's dead. Talk is cheap now. I just kept a lock of his hair.
She tossed the hair into the crackling fire pit. The flames licked the strands, letting out a faint crackle, quickly turning it to ash.
It's done. Lin Shu stared at the ashes.
And let out a long sigh.
Yuanha, my whole life. I didn't believe in romance. Didn't trust men. I only trusted myself. I fought my whole life. Schemed my whole life. And today, I finally feel like I won.
She turned her head, looking at the smiling faces filling the yard.
Look, we have such a great home. So many wonderful kids. Even without men. Our lives are still spectacular.
I looked at her and nodded firmly. Yeah, we won. After Lin Shu's 60th birthday, her health started declining. She handed the school over to me, too. I became the true head of both Wixon Pavilion and Wixon Courtyard. Super busy every day, but I loved it. Watching those girls grow up day by day, seeing the boutique's business boom, gave me a massive sense of accomplishment. That fall, Lin Shu fell seriously ill. It hit her like a ton of bricks. I brought in every top doctor in Jiangnan, spent a fortune on rare meds, but barely managed to keep her hanging on. She spent most of her time asleep, rarely waking up. I knew her time was almost up. During that time, I dropped everything else and stayed by her bed day and night. I told her funny stories from the shop and all the latest gossip from the school. Just like she used to do for me, she just listened quietly, occasionally giving me a weak smile. One night, she suddenly woke up clear-headed. She grabbed my hand. her grip light as a feather.
Yuenha, help me up. I want to go to the courtyard.
I wrapped her in a thick cloak, placed her in a wheelchair, and wheeled her out. The moonlight was beautiful tonight, pouring over the yard like silver water. The osmanthus was blooming, filling the air with a sweet scent.
Smells amazing.
Linshu took a deep breath. Yeah, I agreed. The osmanthus is really popping this year. We took a lap around the yard.
Yuenha, Linshu suddenly said. I want to go back to the capital.
My heart sank. Aunt Lin, your health?
I know, she cut me off. I just want to see the place I grew up. One last time before I die. Sure, there are no good memories there. But it's still where I spent half my life.
Seeing the pleading look in her eyes, I couldn't say no. All right, I said. I'll go with you. We prepped the most comfortable carriage, brought the best doctors and maids, and headed back to the capital. We took it real slow, traveling for over a month. She finally saw the towering walls of the capital. 10 years. It's been exactly 10 years since I left. The capital was still bustling, but everything had changed. We didn't go into the city. Instead, we headed straight for a hillside outside the city. That was the Wei family cemetery, where Wei Jun was buried. His grave was small and totally trashed. Just a tiny mound of dirt and a blank tombstone. Lin Shu told me to stop at the grave. She stared at that tombstone for a long time, face completely blank. Couldn't tell if she was happy or sad. Finally, she pulled a small flask from her coat and slowly poured the liquor over the grave.
Weijun, I came back to see you. Her voice was soft. This drink is for the history we shared. From this moment on, even in the afterlife, we are officially done.
She dropped the flask and turned around. Let's go. I wheeled her out of that depressing graveyard. On the way back, Lin Shu's spirits suddenly lifted. She was even in the mood to joke with me.
Yuenha. I totally wrecked your in-laws. You better take care of me until the very end.
I laughed, but tears streamed down. Deal. I'll take care of you until the end. The day after we got back to Jiangnan, Lin Shu passed away. She went peacefully, with a smile on her face. Right before she died, she handed me a box. Inside were the deeds to Huixin Pavilion and Huixin Courtyard, along with her personal seal.
Yuenha. This family is in your hands now. She said, you gotta live well. Live the most brilliant life possible.
Holding her hand, I was crying too hard to speak. I promised her. I absolutely will. Lin Shu's funeral was a massive event. Every single girl who ever graduated from Huixin Courtyard came back. We didn't wear mourning clothes, but wore our most beautiful, self-embroidered dresses. Lin Shu said before she died, she hated all the crying and wailing. She wanted her funeral to feel like a huge celebration. We scattered her ashes into the stream outside our door. She was born in the capital, trapped in the marquis's manor. But her true love was Jiangnan. She wanted to stay here, to watch over her home and her girls. After Lin Shu left us, I fell into a serious slump. I'd sit alone in the courtyard, staring at her empty spot for entire afternoons. Felt like my anchor was gone. It was the girls in the courtyard who pulled me out of it. They surrounded me, telling me jokes, pulling me into their games.
Principal Yuan, Principal Lin is watching us from above.
The youngest girl said to me.
She definitely wouldn't want you to be this sad.
Looking at their pure, innocent faces, it finally clicked. What Lin Shu left me wasn't just a business. It was a responsibility. I couldn't break down. I got back to running the boutique and the school. I expanded Huixin Pavilion to even further cities, even taking it overseas. I doubled the size of the girls' school so more girls could get an education and learn a trade. I carried on Lin Shu's legacy and made it even better. Many more years passed, and I grew old too. My hair turned white. My legs grew weak. I handed Huixin Courtyard over to my best student. One winter afternoon, the sun was shining bright. I was laying on a rocking chair in the yard, wrapped in a thick blanket. A bunch of my girls, now grandmas themselves, came back to see me, chattering away around me, updating me on their families. I squinted my eyes, listening to their voices, feeling totally at peace. My life had its share of humiliation, of fighting back, and of massive success. I didn't marry for love, but I scored family, and a career way more precious than romance. I never had my own kids, but I have hundreds and thousands of daughters. I suddenly remembered many years ago, that night me and Lin Shu sat on the porch looking at the moon. She told me a woman has to live for herself. I think I did just that. I lived exactly the life I wanted. I slowly closed my eyes. In my final fading moment, I swear I saw Lin Shu again. She stood in the brilliant spring light, smiling at me, just like when we first arrived in Jiangnan. She reached out her hand to me. I smiled and reached back. Aunt Lin, I'm here.